Hello. I made it in. There we go. Here we go. Good morning, my beautiful people. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me know because I'm still learning this technical stuff. This is your girl Zarel Gibson with the platform Six Saved and Undefeated. I am so excited to be on here today, this morning, with an amazing woman that we're going to bring on stage shortly. You guys, just FYI about this platform again, this is a testimonial platform. It is not for the weak, okay? So we are here letting people know that regardless of what you go through, that diagnosis is not your identity. Six saved and undefeated for all my churchy people. Look, we ain't claiming nothing, but we are identifying what we need to pray for. So therefore, we have a testimonial platform to let you know that everything is not always peachy clean. I mean, we go through stuff. It's real life. And guess what? The Bible deals with real life as well. So I am going to say a little bit about this beautiful individual, Miss Shamikka Marty. I hope I said that right. Shamikka Marty. She is the brand new, I am so happy to say, Gibson Lupus Art 2024 International Pageant Queen. Yes, she is doing it, y'all. She doing it big out there. So, I'm not going to tell all her story, but she is definitely an advocate. She has definitely got a large voice out there. Her platform is pretty sick lupus chick. Did I say that right? Pretty sick lupus chick. Okay, yes. I'm going to get all these names right, y'all, but forgive my brain fog when it happens. I apologize. But this woman, without any further ado, I really want to bring her on stage and let her, say all the correct accolades, because I really need you guys to know who this woman is, to go, to follow, to listen to her story, and know that you are not alone. Regardless of how it feels or how it looks or what people say, you are definitely not alone. And you can look good while doing it. Hey. So let me bring her up to the stage. Let's give a round of applause for Miss Shamikka Marty. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. Looks like I got the memo to wear purple. A purple. Yeah.
We're good. Oh, I like the S on the chest. The S on the
That's it. It's warrior. My friend made it for me.
Oh, I love it. Definitely. Because we are definitely that warriors. Okay.
hmm
Well, I know it's a little early there, but
hmm
I just tell us more about you. I like go down the list of things because we talked about it, but I really want everybody to know that you are a powerhouse in this little bitty body of yours. So
Yes.
let's go down. Let's go down some of the things that you're doing.
Well, I'm doing a lot of things. I segued into not just speaking about lupus, but speaking about patient advocacy and making sure that our voices are heard on a different level, on a level that, what can increase change, can bring more awareness, can bring more money to funding and research so that we can have a cure. My mother had lupus and it was back in the 90s, and there wasn't a lot of things out there. There weren't a lot of people that even knew. She was very quiet and everyone just kept saying, oh, she's fine, she's fine. And I'm like, no, I live with her. She is not fine. And
Right.
people just mistake it as this invisible illness that is almost like a cold. Oh, I know someone that has lupus and then they were fine. No, I'm sick of hearing it. And when you see a problem and you're sick of just seeing this problem and seeing no one else do something about it, at least where I'm from, you have to take action. There's a call to action. And I know that it happened to my mother, but I will not let it happen to me. I will not be silenced. I will not go ahead and sit quietly. And if there's anything that can be done, I'm going to do it. And there are plenty of people out there that don't have a voice or choose not to speak. That's fine. Not all of us want to speak about it, but I'm
Right.
going to make sure that I will be a voice for the voiceless and carry this through as much as possible. And I feel as though what my mother went through was kind of like a boot camp to show me this is what your purpose is. You have a higher purpose to
Ah,
show people that things can change, to make awareness, And with me segueing to more of a political stance with my patient advocacy, people are listening and you have to tailor your message. And that's what I really want to do. I want something for my kids that my mom couldn't leave for me. And that is hope.
Oh, awesome. So, one thing I wanted to touch on that you said, because it really stood out to me in my life, that people would look at me and say, well, you don't look sick. So they would downplay everything that I'm going through because I don't look like I need to be in a wheelchair or in a hospital bed at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you actually address individuals? Because I know some people still get that. It's like we look good. We don't
Yes.
look like what we went through. There's a lot of us that look like that. How did you actually address people when they said, well, you don't look sick? Because my response was, well, if you're giving room and board, I will happily accept. I don't. I mean, if I ain't got the work or nothing else, I know how to say thank you. But
Yes.
how did you respond to that?
Um, I think it's a little bit different for me because if you ever follow me or you plan to follow me, you'll see that I travel a lot. So the instances in which I get that situation happen to me at least weekly. And everyone that travels with me, just my friends, and they get more upset than I do because at first I got really upset. And especially when I would board a plane, people would look at me, oh, why she doesn't look handicapped to me. And of course, I wanted to snap back and be like, you don't look stupid to me. But that's not the right response.
You can't
I,
always
like,
respond that way, though, sis. You
no,
can't always.
I mean, like, I'm not trying to never board a plane again. So it would it would be I don't have to justify it. And I said, that's because right now you cannot see exactly what is going on with me. And it's almost like a double-edged sword because we want to be seen and understood. And then when the times came when before I got my kidney transplant, my legs would look like elephants' legs. And my husband would have to tell me, look, you cannot stop being proud, go get in that motorized scooter and we'll go grocery shopping. And in my head, I'm like, no, I can do it. But then this is the time that I can prove that I really need to, and I'm fighting you. So it's the same thing where it's a struggle, and I just let people know that not all illnesses, not because I'm walking around with a cane 24/7. I own a cane. I do own a wheelchair for those times that I have to break it down and be like, I can't do it today. But you have to understand that. So not everybody has a mobile aid to justify their disability. So please be kind. You have no idea what I'm going through. And it's been sometimes where I just have to say, look, I just had a kidney transplant. Do I look like a kidney transplant patient? No. Do you know what one looks like? So if we were in a classroom and you were 5 years old and I said that to you, what would you draw? The stick figure with a kidney hanging out or something? Is that what I should do? Um, but on top of that, the type of car I have, so I should, have a wheelchair accessible van every time I park in handicap. And I've had the cops called on me. I've had several people say, that goes to someone that really needs it. And I'm like, little do you know, I can't walk that far. I really need it. Um,
Mhm.
so it's just letting people know that I have lupus and I really shouldn't have to tell them that, but I want to educate them. This is what a person with lupus looks like. Does Nick Cannon look like that? But you do see him in the hospital bed sometimes, right? Or Selena Gomez. And I have to whip out those things just to make them realize, hey, they look good too. I know they have tons of money, and I don't, but I still hold it together and I don't look frail and sick.
So I had a situation where I actually, the doctor had given me crutches because I was having pain
Mm-hmm.
with my hip. So I drive a little white sports car, and I pull up into this handicap spot, and this man looks at me because I'm able to get out. I just can't walk without the crutches.
Mm-hmm.
So he stares me down until he sees me pull the crutches out of the car. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, I get it, but you got to be kidding me. I'm not faking the funk here, because with a lot of us, when we feel sick, we try not to look sick
Yeah.
because looking sick, it's like for some reason it makes you feel worse when you can't, make yourself look halfway decent, be like, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna make it through this. So
Mhm.
looking out for those factors, that some people dress up just so they don't feel as bad as they, look as bad as they feel. So
Yes.
girl, I totally understand and get that. So you were saying that you went through a lot of things with your mother, so you
Yes.
understood that everyone kept saying she looks healthy or she looks okay and there's nothing wrong, and just kind of brushing it up under the rug. And you realize, no, I live with her and this is not normal. So in your journey, when you first got diagnosed, tell me how that happened when you first got diagnosed, and did they treat you the same and you had to scream from the rooftops, and say stop doing this, or how did that work out for you?
I had to get them to believe me. Knowing all the things that she experienced behind closed doors with her hands, with her feet, all the little things that she tried to hide as much as possible. And in addition to my great aunt having MS, my grandmother having severe rheumatoid arthritis, and my mom having lupus, I did a little research. Of course, the internet wasn't out then. It was just starting. And upon that research, I found that the highly likelihood of me getting lupus was pretty high because of all the autoimmune diseases in my family.
Mhm.
So after she had passed away, I made sure to relay that to my primary care doctor and say, every time you do my blood work each year, because at that time I wasn't seeing the doctors every other day, it was maybe once or twice a year, can you please test me for lupus? And they're like, okay. So all these things, unfortunately, when it leads to a diagnosis, it's never like, oh, it's blaring out there like one thing just happens and, oh, I have the butterfly rash and I've got it. That's not the case. So for me, it was I lost feeling in my tongue. Then I started to lose um, like any type of dexterity in my hands. My arms wouldn't extend. It felt like somebody beat me with a bat in my sleep. So my arms and my back were like this. I'm hunched over, then it would stop. Then I would get swollen glands, then it would stop. And so my body was like starting to freak out and doing things in weird places that it was happening. It wasn't happening like, oh, okay, this month it's this. It was like over the course of a couple of years, these random things happen and they were just triaging it. Okay, we're going to give you this. Okay, you're going to give me this. And then it wasn't until I absolutely couldn't open up my hands and my glands were completely swollen for weeks because they tried to say I had allergies. And I'm like, no, I need you guys to test me again because I remember my grandmother's hands and my mom's hands both being like this. And they're like, no, we already tested you last year. And I was like, okay, that was last year. I need you to do it now. And they're telling me no several times. And finally, I just said, I pay for insurance. I need you to test me for this. So while they're in the midst of taking my blood work and I'm waiting for the results, I asked my girlfriend, actually my best friend, who's a nurse, and I was like, I need you to get me something. What? So get me prednisone. And if this prednisone works, I know I have lupus because it's going to open everything up. And lo and behold, everything, my glands weren't swollen anymore, and my hands, I could open them because I couldn't grab anything. And it just so happened they had sent me to a orthopedic doctor because they had taken x-rays of my back. So we're like, okay, we need you to see this doctor. And when the doctor, I had that appointment before I got my blood work, because back then it literally took a long time to get your blood test results. He's like, I just looked at your x-rays and I don't know why you're here. And can you describe for me what's happening? So I described for him, I was like, look, I don't even think I need to be here. But this, and this is happening. And he was like, you sound exactly like my sister. My sister has lupus. And I was like, light bulb went off. I said, okay, that's what I thought. And he's like, I really think that's what you have.
So
I'm going to tell your primary care doctor. Mm-hmm.
I want to point that out, because unfortunately, we were taught that what the doctor says is gold.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they says goes. If they say you don't have it, you don't have it. If they say you do have it, you do have it. And we don't tend to advocate for ourselves as much as we should. And you, by you knowing your history, took it upon yourself to do your own research and not just take the doctor at his word. We have a lot
Mhm.
of people, unfortunately, that end up in the grave because they did not they chose not to do anything for themselves. They chose to
Right.
listen to what they were told, not realizing that the main definition of doctor is practice medicine. They practice. If you're allowing some stranger to practice on you, why can't you do things for yourself? And it was like some people are like, "Oh, I'll hurt myself." You're under doctor's care. If you hurt yourself, at least you know where to go. You know,
Mhm.
So I really want to commend you for that, for paying attention and doing what you needed to do to make sure that this was not going to be the end of the road at all.
No. And that is something that I always teach on my page
Mm-hmm.
is patient empowerment. Know your rights. Know your rights because they will push you into something that you do not feel comfortable with. And the old school way of thinking, like you said, is the doctor is God. A lot of older people still adhere to that. And it's not it. And I'm like, okay, when you go to a restaurant and you're given something that you didn't want, I'm like, no, I want it to be cured. I asked for the cure. I asked for this, but you gave me this and it gave me a whole bunch of other stuff. And
Right.
you're quick to be like, oh my God, no, take it off the bill, blah, 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 blah. Why don't we ever do that for ourselves when it comes to our health? When you
That's
forget that
the question.
their paycheck is from you paying for insurance in some way,
Yes.
shape, or form, and the whole grand scheme of things, you contribute to their paycheck, to their salary. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have the right. And I did that. And upon me leaving the orthopedic doctor, because I was immediately going to go chew out the doctor's office, and they're like, oh, yeah, it popped up like literally like it was just God saying, you were right. And everything is happening. And as soon as I got in the car and the doctor's office said, I need to see a rheumatologist because lupus, there is no one definitive test, but it was showing that I had a high rheumatic pattern. So something rheumatologic was showing up at that time. And then we went from there to the rheumatologist. But after that, I called my husband and I was like, I'm sad. And I was sad for about 5 seconds. And he was like, you already knew what was going to happen. You can get through this. And I'm like, I know. I'm just having a pity party for about 5 seconds. And then I said, okay, lupus, you got my mom. Not why me, try me. Now you got the better version.
That is so important. So important. Own your emotions for whatever law.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let your emotions own you. So you walked into it. You knew what it was going to be, but of course you had your moment and you allowed yourself your that moment. A lot of people try, as women, we try to suck it up, not realizing that's a major trigger because it's stress on your
Mm-hmm.
body. So you allowed yourself that moment, your 5 second pity party, as you call it, and then you decided, okay, I'm done, and you decided to move forward. I mean,
Yes.
it's a wonderful thing because a lot of us don't even know how to deal with our emotions at that point. And so I
Yes.
even looked at a lot of people dealing with those emotions. It's like you haven't even got over your childhood trauma, and now you got this whole new thing you have to deal with. You know, but I
And a lot of people don't know how to deal with it. I get messages all the time, even up until yesterday, where someone said, did you ever want to give up? Honestly, there are days where sometimes it's not just the lupus, it's the overlapping diseases that come with it that try to beat me up too. So lupus has a gang, and I'm fighting this gang of people that are just ruthless all the time, who go hiding in an alleyway that I'm walking by thinking everything's okay, and then just all of a sudden come out. But not once do I ever think about completely just folding because I know what it's like to not have a mother and to lose someone to this. And it's unfortunate. So I have 3 kids. I want to be there for their wedding. I want to be there for those special moments. I want to see my grandkids. All the things that my mother couldn't do for me, I want to make sure I do for them. So no, I don't give up. And for those people who do not have that as a motivation, you're still here for a reason. And I often get, am I going to die? Yes, you'll die. I don't know what from. It doesn't mean it's going to be lupus. You could go to the grocery store You can go to the movies. You can get in your car and drive to a destination, and someone decides to take you out. So that part of your destiny is not defined by this disease. But when
Exactly.
you are dealing with things, you can do a little bit. I'm not saying you can control it, but you could do a little bit on your part to make things easier.
So let me ask you this. What did you learn about yourself in this journey? Because we all have this aha moment, maybe not in the beginning, maybe somewhere in the middle, or you're still trying to find it. What exactly did you learn about yourself, and when was it? Was it in the beginning, or are you still learning? Well, I think we're all still learning, but do you feel like you're still learning? What is it that you learned about yourself? Because I believe, like you said, we have purpose. So God gave us a reason, and he gave us something to get our attention, to learn what we need to learn, and to move forward how we need to move forward. So tell me, what did you learn about yourself?
Um, when I was younger and right before my mother died, I thought that it was a burden that I had to grow up so fast and help take care of her and do everything for everybody like she was always doing. And there was a moment in time where I wish I could have taken it back, but I was still a child. I had to leave school early for my mom. I had to do all these things. And I was like, why couldn't I have a normal childhood? Why do I have to have everything on my back? And I yelled it, and she heard me. And I was like, that was boot camp. I was like, think of the army where they try to break you, and you're going through your 6 weeks of basic training.
Mm-hmm.
And my basic training was my childhood, and that I'm easily capable of figuring out things, of helping people. I've had several people tell me, I've learned more from watching you in the past couple of months and your videos than the 11 years that I've had lupus and just listening to these doctors. I finally feel seen. I finally feel this. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm a soldier. My boot camp was my childhood. This is my purpose. This is this is what I went through on the trenches of coming home to blood and seeing a whole bunch of things and having to do stuff, clean up my mom, clean up my grandmother. Someone could basically own it and say, that's PTSD. I'm just, really affected by it. My life is over. And I chose to embody it and make it my power.
So that's what you learned about yourself, that you
And
had.
yes, because at first I thought, I didn't think I could get through it like my mom didn't get through it. I just was trying to be strong for her. And now it's like, well, what am I? I'm capable of so much more. I'm capable because I was taught so much and I'm not going to waste that. I know that before I had lupus, my life was different. It wasn't actually better. I didn't feel like I was walking around with a purpose. And God just said, okay, you got to remember now. You won't remember on your own. And I know I was more stronger than what I ever thought. I was actually really weak then. The time between my mom dying and me getting a diagnosis. And yeah, I know that I'm very resilient and my bounce back is pretty strong. Pretty strong for a little girl, but yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. So, in this, do you feel like it's brought you closer to God since you've been going through this?
Yes. Very, I've been there. I've been on the phone with God and be like, are you trying to take me now? Because if you are, we got some things to work out real quick. Yes, my my struggles, my issues, my mini strokes, all of my medical things, it was God. When I had my kidney transplant, I died for 1 minute and 47 seconds after, not during, after they put it in. And I know that God's like, you're not done. You're not done. I'm going to have to bring you back here. And I thank him every day that I have the privilege to be able to be here with my kids and my husband and just be a beacon of hope for those, showing them every day. I'm thankful that God has allowed me to reach so many people and to give my testimony, like this podcast, as many times as possible.
That's good. That's really good. So, exactly at this point, you feel like it's brought you closer to God. Well, the question that really it just keeps coming up: did you suffer from depression at all? I mean, and how was your
That's the
hospital
part.
in the beginning? Were you more so in the hospital? You know,
Mhm.
because I know some people feel like okay, it's just vacation. Other people feel like oh my freaking God. And I was one of those oh my freaking God
Mm.
people because I was like, as soon as I got up, I got smacked back down for a long time. But that was me building, getting built up to what I know I could do. So tell me exactly, did you go through depression and how were those hospital stays with you for you? How what did you make them out to be?
It was a mixture of a lot of things. Sometimes because I try to do too much in one day, it's a little bit of a vacation for me because I get sedated. Because normally I'm sitting here like I have to do stuff all the time, and everybody's like, "Calm down." I'm like, I don't know how to calm down. I grew up in a household where I always had to react. So I'm just used to being like I have to be productive. And then there were times when, right before a nurse would come in, because they would come in like every couple hours. You have to take this. We have to draw blood. We have to do this. Where I'm sitting here like, this is not where I want to be. And it would mostly be because of the sounds I would hear outside my room would make me more depressed. And even when you're just home by yourself, people don't talk about the depression factor of having a chronic illness. Everything is not rainbows. I'm not spitting out sugar cookies and rainbows every day. There are times where I'm just like, oh man, God, can I get off this plan? The gifted and the soldiers and the struggle. Can we take that package? Can we downgrade that? Can just like calling the cable company. Can we downgrade that? I can't afford that. I can't mentally afford that right now. And
Right.
so I just your mind is a powerful thing. I have to psych myself up. And then sometimes you have to enlist someone else to psych yourself up. But I try not to let that affect me too much. And it really doesn't. And it's been like a lot of training, because it'll easily break you. It's not for the weak. It's absolutely not for the weak.
Not at all. So I mean, you have been an inspiration to so many to me, you know, regardless of what we go through, we all still need someone to look at, to say, okay, I can still keep going, and I
Yes.
thank you. I truly, truly thank you for that because that means a lot to me. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure a lot of other people. So, at this point, where do you see yourself going from here? Instead of just being busy, where do you see yourself going from here?
I see myself being more of a ambassador or something that will bring awareness to this disease. We do have those celebrities out there that advocate, and they do a lot of things behind the scenes, but that's not their main job. Okay, you'll occasionally see some video that Selena Gomez will put out, and then you'll forget about it. I don't want people to forget about it. I want people to know that this is actually one of the top five diseases that the Congress gives money to, approves every year. We advocate for because it's becoming more and more prevalent, and not just in the United States, but globally. And we need to find more treatments out there than the things that are 30 years ago or for cancer patients. Um, but I see myself being the face of lupus to show you this is what it looks like. And I could be talking to you right now, and an hour later, I'm having an episode and I'm in the hospital. And it's all because I'm holding it in because I'm just trying to stay strong. And that's what people really like about me. But I want to take this to a higher level of making sure that there is somebody that you can associate it with authentically, 100%, 24/7, representing this. And that's what I intend to do. Because my kids even ask me, like, what do you want from this? I said, some people just want to have life where they don't have anything. Some people feel as though that their job is their identity. Me, I want to be known for being a great mother and a lupus advocate. And I've shown the world what lupus really is.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about this crown, ma'am.
Yes. I didn't know if I should wear it on here or not, so I just like say I'll be neutral, but I'll wear something that has lupus related stuff on.
Okay, but tell me, one, when you found out about it, what made you want to run? How do you feel about winning? Let's go from beginning, middle to end. Tell me the whole hoopla. What is it that your thought process went through?
There was a foundation charity when I first moved to California, because I'm originally from New Jersey, and I moved to California 8 years ago, going on 9. And I found a lupus foundation, and I saw all these beautiful women walking around with crowns, and they're called the Purple Pageant. So, of course, where I come from, and also just as a whole, people don't know that something like this exists. And it's sort of empowerment and making you feel good about yourself. It's, beauty pageants. You look at Miss International or Miss USA or for your state one. I actually, when I was a kid, I won Miss Preteen pageant for New Jersey, and I think it was either 13 or 14. So it brought me back to that. So when I saw it advertised, I'm like, this would be great. I would love to represent all of his warriors because that's what I'm about. And I went ahead and entered. I contacted you, and I saw that Emmett had won, and I was like, "Oh, that's great! Something for men because men get lupus too. And where are their flowers? Where are their awards? Because they tend to actually get it worse than women." So I thought it was a great organization, something positive surrounding lupus. And once I heard that I won, I was elated because I'm like, I've dreamt about this day, not a pageant like this, but this day to actually walk around proudly on a different level. I walk around proud every day, but on a different level that I can represent and people can associate, you know, well, with my name, Pretty Sick Lupus Chick. Well, Pretty Sick Lupus Chick just won the international lupus pageant. And so I just want to be, when people say I have representation on TV, I want people to feel that same way about lupus. I have representation in front of me out there walking and saying the things that I'm thinking, but I'm just too scared to say.
That is amazing. So, what do you plan on doing with this crown, ma'am?
Well, luckily, I have plenty of events. I make sure to keep my calendar very busy to rock it everywhere. Actually, next week I have the Lupus Foundation of Northern California's Purple Gala, and then immediately following that, I have Purple Rain Gala in Atlanta. So I'm getting ready for that, and then it's a full speed marketing kind of campaign for Lupus Awareness Month. So I'm going to make sure that I do a lot of videos and a lot of things where I'm rocking the crown. But anywhere that I go, they will know. With the exception of like politics, it's not when I go to Congress and I have to speak at a panel and stuff, I have to be all dressed in my formal suit. But everywhere else, people will know. I want them to question me so I can be the first one to tell them, yes, let me tell you about lupus and how many forms there are and what it does to people. So it'll be a very good experience. I've actually partnered with a company that we develop patient cards. So if somebody ever asks, what is lupus? It has a patient card that describes what lupus is and giving it to people because it's almost like a business card. This is our business.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to educate you on something. We're not selling you anything but awareness. So giving those out and associating, remember my face. I gave you this. Oh, yeah, lupus. Oh, yeah. And it'll be more talked about. That's what I want.
That is amazing. So, let me stop. That is
Thank you.
absolutely amazing. Amazing.
Mhm,
So excited to see, all that you're getting ready to do. I'm happy and
mhm.
appreciative of all that you have already done. You know, what would you tell somebody who is newly diagnosed with lupus?
That you can get through this. And it's all about your mindset. I'm not saying that being positive and smiling every single day, that's going to make everything great. But the journey to having a better life is not just the medication, it's also your mind. Don't think that this will define you. It'll define you if you let it. Do not let it.
Right.
And everything will be a mess. I guarantee at some point it will be a mess where you're just confused and throwing your hands up. And it is up to you to make your mess your message. Okay. Everyone has that. Everyone has a message because lo and behold, everybody's a hot mess. I'll be the first one to admit it. But if things will get better, things can get better. I cannot guarantee everybody's situation. There's no two lupus patients that are alike. But for the most part, make sure you go ahead and call God up and tell him, all right, I'm ready for this package. Let's go. Okay. And he will make sure that you will get through this. There will be some bumps in the road, but you will get through this. And just show everybody your bounce back is strong.
So, what would you actually tell a lupus patient who has been going through this for quite some time? And when I say some time, I mean some years, and they're feeling pretty
Yeah.
discouraged, because they feel like they can never just get their head above water. What would you tell them?
It's situational as a whole. I'll use a friend of mine. She's had lupus since she was 15. So the struggle has been for a very long time. She's 35 now. And she was hopeless. And when I first met her, she just didn't believe that I had lupus because I looked like this. And then she looked like the classic case that kind of gave up. And I said, no, honey. And the biggest thing was, she's like, I don't think I'll ever find a man. And I'm like, no, that's not true. I mean, it's up to you. You'll find the right person for you. You just have to rise above. And I was trying to basically mentally get her out of this hole. You have to remember things happen to you. This happened to you, but you could have had an issue with possibly having your leg shut off or something happening. I don't want to compare it and be like, well, it could have been worse. It
Hmm.
that is the cliche, and that is something can be said, but I know it's not something that's as comforting. Putting, oh, I don't have a child with cancer or something, and I'm not suffering. But you have to learn, you got to speak up. Nobody knows this better than you. You need to be a person that advocates for themselves. Talk to the doctors. Look, this, and this, and this. I need to see you get more active, and I guarantee things will get better for you. But you can't give up. You can't give up. Why? Because you're still here. If you were meant to give up, God would have taken you away already. Everybody struggles. Let's get this going. A lady the other night, I have so many messages, and that's attributing to the fact that I don't sleep because everybody sees that I'm online. And I'm like, I know I'm online. I should be asleep. But no matter what, I try to encourage people, please speak up, talk to your doctors. They can't help you if you just sit there and be like, help me. You need to give them some information. It's just like taking your car to get checked at. And you always say, well, there was a sound. And then they'll ask you to describe the whole thing. You've got to give them as much information as possible, or else you're going to stay stagnant and you're not going to get any better. But if you at least tell me you've tried your hardest completely, then there are things out there like therapy, someone you can talk to. There are ways. You just got to get creative, but never give up because every day that you wake up is a blessing and it's not given to many. Every day, every couple seconds, someone's passing away and it's not you, right? You're talking to me right now. You can get through this. Let's work this out. Let's get a plan. Start drafting everything. Let's get it
So,
together. But it's all about, half of the battle is you.
I think one of the things that people do quite often is they look at lupus as a bottom line across the board, not realizing how many things it connects to because it
Mhm.
hurts organs. So if you don't bottom line, which is why I even named the podcast Sick, Saved, and Undefeated, sick meaning identify exactly what it is. Because if you have lupus and your kidneys are messing with you and you just saying, I have lupus, they can't get to the direct issue. You have to be able to label what your issue is because lupus opens up the door for so many different other things. recognize what's actually going on with you. Yes, it may be a title, but what is the underneath issue that you have that they need to actually look at so that you can even get better? So even do what you need to do for yourself. I'm really big on detoxing. Detoxing is major for me, but
Hmm.
also replenishing, because you can't just detox without putting stuff back in your body, because I believe those chemicals that they give us, that some of those get stuck, and you have to, help it move through, especially if you have a system like mine where my digestive system doesn't always agree with me. So everything doesn't move like
Oh
it's
no.
supposed to. So it needs a little help, chemicals and chemicals, food and all. So, when we open up and we recognize for what it is, and not just try to put one sticker on it and think, oh, everything's going to be better if I just put this one label on it.
Hmm.
You'll learn more about yourself as an individual, and what we talked about, who you are as an individual, what it takes for you to do. You'll learn how strong you are mentally, physically, and emotionally, and be able to help yourself. Remembering that not everybody's meant to be on a pulpit. I really don't think so. But your everyday life is an example to somebody. And I get people all the time that come and
Yes.
say, "Hey, just the fact that you did it, you look so well put together." Even though I'm like, "Ooh, put together, I appreciate it," but your people are watching you. You never know who's
Hmm.
watching you, whether you're in the hospital, whether you're at home in the bed, from family that just don't speak about it, because not everybody's going to say something. You are a testament to what God is doing here on earth. So show up as such. You know,
Yes.
First you have to admit it to yourself, because the Bible says love yourself as you love your neighbor. So it means you got to take care of yourself. So when you focus on that and how you do yourself, more people will watch, and that's a part of loving your
Hmm.
neighbor. So yeah, I just had to put that little piece in there to help people out right there. It's a tag to yours. It's like tag teaming. So
Hmm.
oh man, this has been great. This has really been great, and
Hmm.
I want to thank you for that. I really do. We're just about out of time, so
Hmm.
is there any announcements that you possibly have that you want to put out there, people to come see you? Oh, the galas you were
Yes.
talking about. You want to tell anybody about the galas that you're going to?
Yes. Next week, if you're in the Northern California area, I will be in Cupertino next Saturday for the Lupus of Northern California's Gala. And then the week after, actually, it'll be the 23rd. I had to make sure, 'cause I'm like, I get there the 22nd, but it's actually the 23rd. I will be speaking in Atlanta. So I'm very, very, very excited to speak in Atlanta. I know that I'm going to reach a huge amount of people in that area that are affected by lupus. So I always welcome. If you follow me, you'll see I usually put upcoming events where I'm going to be. I love it when people tell me, "Oh, okay, you're going to be here. I want to meet you. I would love to meet you, take some pictures." I've even ran into people in the airport and they've taken selfies with me. It's great because they want to see someone out there that just is actually being a voice for lupus. Like, I didn't know anything about it and I found your page. But yes, I just want you to know I am approachable. Sometimes, yes, I have that Capricorn face where I'm like, the face, and you're like, mm,
Don't talk to me right
uh,
now.
yeah, I was like, and somebody be like, fix your face. Like, oh, sorry. That doesn't mean I'm not approachable. I totally am. That'll instantly make my face just light up. But I'm here to help. Please feel free to catch me if I'm out there, if I'm here, or even just online. You want to talk about it. If you want to be a potential guest when I am doing my podcast, I'll be doing 2 each week in the month of May. Let me know. And I want to share your story. It's not just all about me, it's about
Right?
all of us.
Yes. Definitely that. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Mhm.
coming on. Thank you for having the time. Thank you for being the winner of the Gifts and Lupus Art
Yes. I
International
get to go like
Pageant.
this again. Mhm.
Hey, anyway. Oh, girl, you are so well deserving. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. Of course, I'll be praying for you and your family at all times as you go on you are a powerhouse. You are literally a powerhouse because of the God that is in you. And I appreciate you for allowing yourself to be used in such a way. So, with
Yes.
that said, you guys, this is Six Saved and Undefeated. We are on here every Saturday. Whether I'll be giving a word or we have a guest, I don't know, but we're gonna be moving forward to know that your diagnosis is not your identity. You watching this, you gonna own up to what you're supposed to be here. Everybody wondering about what their purpose is, we gonna help you find what your purpose is. Okay, so tune in. We go live stream on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all the social media platforms, even Twitter. So make sure you tune in. You guys get what it is that you need to get because I guarantee you God has something for you to get out of all of this. So follow me, Zarel Gibson, CEO. Follow Gibson Lupus ARC, and you will see us everywhere. everywhere, everywhere. So, without further ado, I want to say good day to you. I love you all. Mwah. Bye.